I turn into the gravel drive at Martin's High Point Orchard just as the last streaks of sunlight slip behind the trees, turning the barn's string lights into soft gold halos against the thick October dusk. The parking area is already jammed with unfamiliar vehicles. Glossy sedans that clearly belong to the investor crowd my sister Kendra has been chasing for months. Country music drifts from the open barn doors, some twangy song about dirt roads and weekend nights. A knot forms in my stomach. I'm late to my own son's 13th birthday party. 6 straight months of overnight warehouse shifts, every Thursday and Saturday from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m., just to scrape together enough for the camera I gave him this morning. A real DSLR with interchangeable lenses, the kind Silas has been watching in YouTube reviews for 2 years. I handed it to him right before school, barely awake, but the look on his face made every sleepless shift worth it. I hurry toward the barn, eyes scanning the property, hoping to see him testing it in this perfect lighting. I can already picture him, one eye squinted behind the viewfinder, lost entirely in his own world. The barn looks like something lifted from a wedding magazine. White tablecloths, mason jars filled with wildflowers, and a dessert display that probably costs more than the camera I saved for. This isn't a child's birthday party. It's a showcase, another flawless backdrop for Kendra to parade the Martin family brand in front of people with deep wallets. I spot Silas near the entrance before he sees me, and my breath catches hard in my chest. He's ghost pale, his left arm swallowed by a new white plaster cast that glows under the lights. Sweat clings to his forehead even though the air is cool. His eyes have that heavy, unfocused fog I remember from when he had his wisdom teeth pulled and they gave him pain meds that made him sway on his feet. I move toward him instinctively. "Silas, baby, what happened?" He turns toward my voice, relief flooding his face so fast it nearly breaks me, but before I can reach him, Kendra steps between us like she's been rehearsing it. "Lindsay, finally." Her smile is bright, polished, and entirely wrong. Her hand clamps Silas' right shoulder, the unbroken one hard enough that I see him flinch. "We thought you'd missed the whole evening." I try stepping around her. "Silas, are you okay?" "He's fine," Kendra hisses, her lips still pulled into that pageant-perfect grin. "Stand up straight, Silas. Mr. Hendricks from the development group is watching." Then she adds, "He just got out of the A 2 hours ago. He should be home in bed." The words snap out sharper than I meant. "He's exhausted. Just a clumsy accident on the hayride," Kendra says, waving her free hand as if brushing away dust. Her grip on Silas' shoulder only tightens. "Nothing worth ruining his special day. Right, sweetheart?" Silas doesn't speak. His good hand trembles at his side. "Lindsay Marie, is that what you're wearing?" My mother's voice slices through the music. Sylvia Martin appears beside Kendra, wearing a cream sweater set that probably costs more than my monthly bills. Her eyes skim my work jeans, my frayed flannel. "You look like a farmhand," she mutters, low but sharp enough to sting. "We have investors here who are considering serious money, and you show up looking like you crawled out of a barn." The irony of that, given the setting, would be funny if my stomach weren't twisting. "Mom, Silas is hurt. He needs to go home." "What he needs," Kendra says, still smiling, "is to enjoy his party like a normal kid instead of being babied." Over her shoulder, Brock struts into view in his varsity jacket, the giant number 16 catching the light. He's laughing with other football players, all of them carrying red Solo cups. He spots Silas and his grin stretches wider. He leans in close to Silas' ear. I can't hear the words, but I see Silas flinch, see his gaze hit the floor. Then Brock says loudly, "Pathetic you need pain meds for a broken arm, dude." Something cold slices through my chest. I watch Kendra lift her hand to fix Silas' hair, a gesture that should be gentle. But Silas jerks back like she's about to hit him. His whole body goes rigid, defensive, afraid. The music fades to a dull hum in my ears. That wasn't instinct. That was fear he's learned. My mother is still lecturing about appearance and family responsibility, but her voice barely registers. I'm staring at my sister's hovering hand, at the subtle pinch of her fingers, at the silent threat in her posture. I'm watching my son's eyes beg me to understand something he can't speak. This wasn't from a hayride accident. I need the restroom. I manage. My voice sounds mechanical. I'll be right back. Kendra's smile sharpens. Don't take too long. We're doing the cake soon. I walk toward the main house on numb legs, leaving my mother mid-sentence about loyalty and image. Inside, I lock myself in the downstairs bathroom and grip the sink edge. My reflection stares back calloused hands, tired eyes, years of swallowing conflict. But peace shouldn't leave bruises. Peace shouldn't make a 13-year-old shrink from his own family. I turn on the faucet to muffle the sound and pull out my phone with shaking hands. Tabitha answers on the second ring. I need you, I whisper. Something's wrong. Something's really wrong. Tabitha is there the moment I step out of the bathroom, her hand closing around my arm, urgent and tense. She doesn't speak, just nods toward the back of the barn and starts walking. I follow her without a word because Tabitha Miller doesn't panic. Not when the tractor caught fire, not when a whole wedding party got food poisoning, never. But her jaw is locked tight now, muscle pulsing in her cheek. She pulls me into the supply closet, where extra chairs and linens are crammed together, cedar and dust thick in the air. The party music is reduced to a dull bass thump through the walls. I saw it, she murmurs, voice rough like she's scraped it raw. I saw Brock corner Silas by the cider press. Not the hayride. The industrial press near the loading dock. My stomach collapses. When? This afternoon. Around 4. She wipes her cheek with the back of her hand. I was in the storage barn doing inventory when I heard something metal slam against the concrete. Loud. Really loud. The cast. The pain meds. The way Silas recoiled when Kendra lifted her hand. I need to see the surveillance. Tabitha's brow furrows. What surveillance? The security setup. Dad installed it 2 weeks ago. I'm already reaching for the door, but she grabs my arm. Lindsay, your dad didn't tell a soul about cameras. He put them in because he thought Brock was stealing equipment to pawn. My stomach turns. High resolution, motion triggered, and he kept it hidden from Kendra. He didn't want her knowing he was monitoring her son. Tabitha's confusion hardens into something grim. Server room? I nod. The server room sits behind Dad's cramped office in the main house, a glorified cupboard housing the computer that manages the sound system and all the venue bookings. The key is still under the doormat. Of course, it is exactly where it's been since I was 12. My fingers tremble as I lock the door behind us. A light tap wakes the monitor, the password autofilling because Dad never remembers logins. The program loads into a grid of feed windows, 12 different views of the property. I scrub backwards through the timeline, hunting for the 4 p.m. mark, their camera 7, a wide shot of the loading dock, the hulking cider press dominating the frame. All steel plates and crushing jaws built to pulverize 200 pounds of apples an hour. Silas steps into view. He's holding the camera, my camera, the one I gave him this morning. He's adjusting the lens, checking the settings, absorbed. My throat tightens. Brock enters from the left, moving quickly. His mouth is moving, but the system doesn't record audio. Silas turns toward him, lowers the camera, clutching it tighter to his chest, protective. Brock grabs at the strap. Silas resists. The strap snaps. Brock rips the camera from him. For half a second, I want to believe this is teasing, some stupid misunderstanding. But then Brock lifts it high and slams it down against the concrete with both hands. The camera bursts apart. black plastic and shattered glass skittering across the ground. 6 months of night shifts, every Thursday and Saturday, every missed dinner with my son, every blurry morning I barely made it through obliterated in seconds. Silas falls to his knees, reaching for the pieces. Brock shoves him, not hard at first, just enough to knock him sideways. Silas still tries to gather the fragments, hands scrambling across the concrete. That's when Brock plants a flat palm on Silas. Shoulder and really shoves, striding my child straight into the steel lip of the cider press. The video is silent, but I hear the sound anyway. The snap of bone against metal. The scream that never reaches the microphone. His arm bends wrong so wrong my eyes blur. Beside me, Tabitha lets out a strangled sound, but the footage keeps rolling because neither of us has stopped it. Kendra enters the frame, heels tapping sharply on the concrete. She glances around, checking for witnesses. Then she crouches, grabs Silas' face in both hands, her manicured nails digging hard into his skin. She's speaking. Her lips move, controlled, deliberate, while Silas freezes, rigid with fear. 15 seconds, 20, 30. She holds his face until whatever threat she's delivering is burned into him. Then she stands, smooth as ever, and walks out without a backward glance. Brock follows, laughing. Silas stays on the ground, cradling his broken arm. Surrounded by the ruins of the camera I worked half a year to afford, I drop to the trash can in the corner and retch until my stomach is empty. Tabitha's hand presses between my shoulder blades, firm and grounding. "I'll call Jim," she says. I spit, wipe my mouth. My body trembles, but my mind is sharp razor clean in a way it hasn't been in years. Not yet. I straighten, take out my phone. I need to download this first. 4 minutes to upload the footage to my cloud. 2 more to forward it to the attorney I consulted 6 months ago, back when Dad threatened to fire me for questioning Grandma's will. The same attorney who calmly explained that the deed to Grandma's land and my name outranks every LLC document my parents created later. The same attorney who told me to record everything. Tabitha watches, her horror slowly shifting into comprehension. "You're not going to explode. You're not going to break down." "No," I press send, watch the confirmation appear. "I'm going to let them think they've won." I open my messages, type quickly. "It's happening. Come now." Sheriff Jim Miller replies in 10 seconds, 20 minutes out. I delete the texts, clear the call log, wipe my face with my sleeve. The monitor's reflection shows me pale but steady worn, but not hysterical. Exactly what they expect. Someone beaten down, harmless. Tabitha opens the door, checks the hallway. They're getting ready to cut the cake. Perfect. I stand, smooth my flannel. My legs feel rooted now. Strong. Let's go watch my son blow out his candles. She catches my wrist. "Lindsay." I meet her eyes. "I own the land," I say quietly. "They just don't know it yet." Her smile is fierce. "Let's go to a party." I find my parents in the office behind the barn, exactly where I knew they'd be. The room smells of leather and old timber, its walls lined with photographs of Martin orchards stretching back 4 generations. Garrett and Sylvia stand behind the massive oak desk as if presiding over a courtroom, scrutinizing catering receipts with the seriousness of people reviewing legal documents. My father looks up when I enter. No smile. "We need to talk about Silas," I say. My voice doesn't waver. "Not now, Lindsay." My mother doesn't even glance up. We have the Hendricks proposal to finalize before they leave. Silas says Brock shoved him. The words drop into the room like stones into a pond. Dad's pen freezes. Mom's head snaps up, glasses sliding down her nose. For one fragile second, I allow myself to hope maybe they'll be horrified. Maybe they'll demand explanations. Maybe, for once in their lives, they'll choose their grandson over Prophet. Dad leans back, fingers steepled. That's a serious claim. I know. Based on what? Mom's voice carries that same brittle edge from my childhood, the tone before every lecture about embarrassing the family. The hallucinations of a medicated 13-year-old. My jaw tightens. Based on what my son told me, your son, Dad says slowly, damaged the industrial cider press this afternoon during one of his clumsy spells. Do you know what that equipment costs? The floor seems to tilt. What? Silas was messing around near it, Mom says, removing her glasses and placing them neatly on the desk. He tripped, grabbed the frame, and broke the pressure mechanism. The whole machine has to be replaced. That's not what happened. Are you calling us liars? Dad's voice drops to a low warning. Were you there? No, but then you don't know what happened, do you? He stands, and even at 42, some childish instinct makes me want to step back. What you do know is that your sister has worked tirelessly to bear something meant to support this whole town, including you, Garrett. Mom rests her hand on his arm, though her eyes stay locked on mine. Let's be reasonable here. She circles the desk, her cream sweater catching the lamplight as she moves. When she gets close enough, her hand lifts like she might touch my shoulder. I stay perfectly still. Lindsay, sweetheart, we know you're protective of Silas. Of course you are. Her voice softens, turns warm. It makes my skin crawl. But you need to see the corner you're pushing us into. Brock is about to sign with a Division I school. We've put thousands into his training, his future. These accusations could destroy everything he's built. And what about what Silas endured? Silas has a broken arm that'll heal in 6 weeks. Dad is back at the desk, writing on the invoice. Brock's football prospects won't survive assault allegations, true or false. The overhead light flickers. Outside, someone laughs, sharp and bright. Fixing the cider press will run around $5,000. Dad keeps writing. We'll deduct $1,000 from your paycheck for the next 5 months. Call it a family courtesy. My mouth goes dry. You're not serious. We're completely serious. He finally looks up. And Lindsay, if you keep spreading lies about Brock, we'll have to rethink your living arrangements. The threat curls through the air like smoke. You'd throw us out. The farmhouse belongs to the Martin family, Mom says gently, like she's explaining a simple equation to a child. We've let you stay there at a deeply discounted rate because you're family. But if you're going to endanger the business, stir up hostility, make false claims about your nephew, she lets the sentence die, the meaning obvious. For years, they made me believe that document in my safe deposit box meant nothing without their money for taxes, their business to keep the building standing. They convinced me I was a guest in my own inheritance. Something inside me shuts down completely. They're not furious because I'm wrong. They're furious because I'm right, and they don't care. These people aren't parents. Not in any way that matters. They're business partners who see Silas and me as numbers on a ledger, problems to control and reduce. Garrett and Sylvia Martin, LC owners, guarding their investment. The truth doesn't sting like I expected, maybe because deep down I've always known. Do we understand each other? Dad taps his pen twice against the desk. I stare at my mother's perfect expression, my father's cold certainty. I picture Silas in the barn with his broken arm and haunted eyes. Kendra's fingers tightening on his shoulder, Brock's smug grin. I think about the footage backed up in 3 cloud accounts, already sent to my attorney, and Sheriff Miller's message 10 minutes ago, 5 minutes out. Don't give anything away. I think about the land deed in my safe deposit box, the one thing my grandmother made sure was untouchable. Yes, I say quietly. We're perfectly clear. Dad nods like a deal has been finalized. Mom smiles like we've settled a minor disagreement. Good. Now go fix your hair before the cake cutting. You look like you walked through a tornado. She's already turning back to her paperwork, crisis resolved, daughter contained. I walk out of the office on steady legs. Music drifts from the barn, that same country song about Friday nights and empty promises. String lights make the evening look like a fairy tale, warm, glowing, false. Tabitha stands by the dessert table and catches my gaze. I give the smallest nod. Everything's in place. Kendra's voice rises above the music, calling for attention. Time for speeches, for toasts, for the polished performance of family harmony. I slip into the shadows near the barn side entrance and pull out my phone. My hands are steady now. The screen lights the darkness, showing Sheriff Miller's dot 2 minutes out. They think they've won. Think they've bullied me back into silence, obedience, and swallowing the truth to keep the peace. They have no idea what's coming. My eyes stay dry. My hands are calm, and I'm done protecting them. I spot Kendra by the dessert table, her wine glass glinting as she laughs with a couple in matching cashmere sweaters. She radiates triumph. She thinks she's secured the win. Good. I smooth my flannel shirt, let my shoulders fold inward, making myself small. A surrendering posture. My boots drag softly on the floor as I approach, loud enough for her to turn. Kendra, my voice breaks just enough. Can we talk? Her eyes narrow, calculating. Then her smile stretches, sharp-edged. Of course, sis. What's on your mind? I want to fix things. The words taste metallic. I shouldn't have made a scene. Not tonight. Not with all these important people watching. She sets her wine glass down with exaggerated care. Go on. I know I embarrassed everyone. I drop my gaze to my boots, the ones Mom criticized. Silas shouldn't have made such a big deal about his arm. Kids exaggerate sometimes, right? The lie scorches my throat, but I see Kendra ease. Watch the predator's gleam turn into something worse satisfaction. I'm glad you're finally being reasonable. She pats my shoulder, the same crushing grip she used on Silas. You know, Lindsay, you could be an asset to this business if you just learn to follow the team. My jaw tightens. I give a shaky nod. Actually, Kendra says, her voice sinking into that sugary tone she uses when she's about to twist the knife deeper. Since you're so eager to make things right, I've got the perfect job for you. I wait, pretending to hang on her words. Mr. Hendricks and the investors are worried about tonight's drama. She gestures toward where Silas slipped away with Tabitha. They're questioning whether this venue is as family-friendly as advertised. Whether management can handle stress with composure. My heart pounds. What do you need from me? Take the microphone. She nods toward the DJ's small stage. Go up and apologize to our guests. Tell them you overreacted to a minor accident. Show everyone you're loyal to the business above everything else. The trap is crafted with expert cruelty. Put me on stage, force me to grovel, make me erase Brock's violence, and deny my son's truth in public. The ultimate dominance move. I don't know if I can. I let my voice wobble, my hands tremble. You can. Her fingers clamp harder. Unless you want Dad to dock your pay. Unless you want to lose that little farmhouse you and Silas have been squatting in. The threat hangs heavy. She has no idea. None of them do about the cameras, the footage, the sheriff already inside. They don't know I own the land under their feet. I check my watch. 8:15. Exactly on cue. Okay. I force it out like it hurts. I'll do it. Kendra's smile could light the rafters. Perfect. Come on, no delays. She all but drags me toward the stage, her ticking loudly. I catch Tabitha's eye across the barn, stationed by the projector like we planned. She gives the tiniest nod. Mom and Dad appear from the crowd as Kendra ushers me up the stage steps. Garrett looks smug. Sylvia looks relieved. They think I've finally folded. Brock leans near the front with his buddies, red Solo cup in hand, his phone already up and recording, probably eager to post this on every platform he can find. Footage of me begging will be perfect for him. Ladies and gentlemen, Kendra taps the mic. A squeal of feedback. If I could grab your attention, my sister Lindsay has something to say. She steps aside with a flourish, displaying me like a trophy. The barn quiets, all those investor faces turning toward me. I feel their judgment, their hunger for the next scene in the family spectacle. I grip the stand, drop my head, let my shoulders shudder like I'm crying. Through my lashes, I locate everyone. Kendra on my right, glowing with victory. Mom and Dad just off stage, arms crossed, pleased. Brooke front row, phone raised. Perfect. They're all here. All clustered, completely off guard. I glance at the back wall. Sheriff Miller and 2 deputies stand in the shadows, hands resting on their belts. I look to Tabitha. She lifts the projector remote, her finger poised over the button. Her expression is unyielding. My breathing calms. The tremor in my hands fades. I tap the microphone once, twice. The barn falls completely quiet. I was told to apologize. My voice comes out softer than I intended, and I allow it. Let them lean in here. Let them think I'm about to break. Kendra shifts beside me, already easing, already savoring the moment. I lift my chin, meet her eyes, watch confusion ripple across her face as she realizes. Something's changed. My next words will shatter everything. The tears on my cheeks have vanished. My spine straightens. My grip on the microphone tightens until my knuckles whiten. Behind me, the projector hums to life. The baby photos meant to play throughout the party flicker and vanish. In the silence, one corner of my mouth lifts slightly. Not a smile. A promise. And I'm sorry, I say, my voice now steady, clear. I'm sorry I didn't shield my son from criminals sooner. Kendra's face goes pale with shock. The first frame of security footage hits the massive screen. I mute Tabitha's eyes across the barn and nod once. The projector flickers. The slideshow of baby photos, the carefully curated Martin family brand, is gone. For a heartbeat, the screen is black. Then the security footage fills the wall. 4 feet wide, crystal clear, 4K resolution rendering Brock's face unmistakable. The timestamp reads 2 days ago, 4:47 p.m. I don't need to watch. I've seen it 30 times already, each viewing etching it deeper into my memory, but I hear it. The barn hears it. The crack of costly camera equipment hitting concrete. Silas's voice, high-pitched and desperate, shouting, "That's mine, you can't." The thud of my son's body against the steel cider press frame makes someone in the crowd gasp. Then the snap. Sharp, wet, absolute. The sound of bone breaking. Silas screams. The investors from the development group freeze near the dessert table. The church ladies from Mom's Bible study press hands to their mouths. Mrs. Henderson's phone is already recording the screen, capturing the truth that will incinerate this family's image. Kendra appears in the frame, moving rapidly. She grabs Silas by the face, manicured nails biting into his cheeks as he sobs. Her voice rings through the barn sound system with perfect clarity. "If you tell anyone Brock did this, I'll tell Grandpa you sabotaged the machine. Your mom will be fired and you'll be homeless. Understand?" My 30-year-old son, arm dangling at an impossible angle, nods through tears. The screen goes black. The silence that follows is deafening. Then it shatters. From the shadows near the back, Sheriff Jim Miller steps forward. He doesn't need fanfare. His presence alone drops the temperature in the room. Heavy boots on the wooden floor approach the stunned assembly. Jim's face is stone, all warmth from family gatherings replaced with cold professionalism. "Brock Vance," he announces. His voice carries. "You're under arrest for felony assault on a minor." Brock drops his solo cup. Red liquid spreads across the floor like blood. What? No, that's not Mom. Tell them. But Kendra isn't looking at her son. She's staring at me, and for the first time, I see fear in her eyes. You can't do this. Her voice cracks. That footage is private property. Ma'am, I need you to step aside. A deputy moves toward Brock, handcuffs ready. The boy who mocked my son for needing pain medicine is suddenly crying, his varsity jacket stretching as his arms are forced behind him. The number 16 catches the light. Mom, don't let them. Kendra Martin Vance, Jim continues. You are being detained for questioning regarding witness intimidation and accessory after the fact. Investors begin edging toward the exits. Mr. Hendricks nearly trips over a hay bale in his rush. The church ladies have phones out, and I know by tomorrow this video will be everywhere, every text, every Facebook group, every whispered conversation in the grocery line. The Martin family's polished facade has just shattered on camera. This is chaos. Garrett's voice booms across the barn, his face flushed. Sheriff, this is a family matter. We can handle this internally. A broken bone and terroristic threats against a minor are not a family matter, Mr. Martin. They're crimes. Garrett spins toward me, fingers stabbing the air. You're fired. Do you hear me? Leave my property immediately. This is the moment. I reach into my jacket and pull out the folded document I've carried all night. Cream-colored, official, stamped with the county seal. I unfold it deliberately. This property, I say, voice carrying to every corner, isn't yours, Dad. It's mine. I hold up the land deed so everyone can see. The one my grandmother left directly to me, bypassing my parents entirely. The one sitting in a safe deposit box for 15 years while I worked the orchard, kept peace, pretended I wasn't the one holding the power. You own the business, LLC, the Martin's High Point brand. The venue. All of it. I flipped the deed so Garrett can read his mother's signature. But the land? Mine, every acre. The barn. The cider press. The farmhouse. Every inch. Mom sounds like something's dying. And under the lease sign when Grandma died, there's a criminal activity clause. I flip to the second page, lawyer highlighted. Any felony committed on my property by business license holders or immediate family voids the lease immediately. I pull the final paper from my pocket. Notice to quit. Prepared by my lawyer. Signed by me, the legal owner. 30 days to remove your business operations from my land. Garrett opens his mouth, nothing comes out. Behind him, Kendra's led to the doors, hands cuffed, mascara running. Brock is outside in the patrol car, red and blue lights painting the barn walls. Investors gone. Church ladies filming. Mom collapsed in a folding chair, cream sweater rumpled, face gray. I placed the notice on the dessert table beside the untouched birthday cake that cost more than a month's groceries. The party's over, I say, and I walk out of the barn, head held high, leaving the Martin family legacy to smolder behind me. 14 months later, I stand in the parking lot, barely recognizing the place. The ostentatious gold script announcing Martin's High Point Orchard is gone. In its place, a hand-painted wooden sign, letters carved deep, painted cheerful yellow, Silas's cider mill and art studio. My son picked the colors himself, designed the whole thing during a quiet Sunday afternoon, October light slanting through the barn just right. Mom, you're blocking the contractor's truck. I turned to see Silas jogging across gravel, left arm swinging freely. No cast, no hesitation. Just a 13-year-old who's grown 3 inches in a year and no longer flinches at raised voices. Sorry. I move my truck closer to the barn, where local families are already gathering for community art class. Through the open doors, easels stand as Silas arranged them this morning, catching the natural light. The contractor, Dale, patient and steady, maneuvers his truck past mine. No rush, no demand. Just fair work done well. I don't miss wedding chaos, the constant pressure to perform, to smile, to pretend beauty where rot thrived. Silas appears beside me with his camera, purchased himself from weekend cider stand earnings. Not fancy, but his earned by sweat and Sunday mornings talking apple varieties and caramel dip. The Rodriguez kids are here early, he says, adjusting his lens. I told them I could start sketching the orchard while we wait. He stops to show a shy 7-year-old how to hold a pencil for. Shading, patient, encouraging. The way no one was with him when he was learning. My phone buzzes. Tabitha, shipment of cider jugs arrived. Inventory now or wait? I text back, go ahead. I trust you. Those words once terrified me. Trust, delegation, letting go. Because for so long I believed if I didn't do everything, it would all collapse. Turns out things only fall apart when held together by lies. Inside the barn, laughter bounces off old beams. Real laughter. Kids mixing paint, adults creating for joy. Not polished, forced smiles. I move toward Tabitha, noticing an envelope on the work table. Handwriting stops me cold. Brock's chicken scratch scrawl. Same messy letters once on birthday cards before we pretended we were something we weren't. Silas sees me staring. It came this morning, he says softly. Return address, him. I reach, but Silas picks it up first. He studies how his name is spelled wrong Brian instead of his grandmother's given middle. You don't have to read it, I tell him. I know. He walks to the workshop's fireplace, still functional for cold days. A small fire crackles, more for ambience than heat. He tosses the letter in unopened. The envelope curls in the flames instantly. Through the transparent window, I glimpse the opening lines. Mistakes, second chances. Something about money, probably. Kendra's bankruptcy left legal bills and a criminal record, destroying Brock's college opportunities. Silas watches the letter burn, then smiles. Not bitter, not triumphant, just peaceful. The kids are waiting, he says, returning to his easels. Through the barn doors, the hand-painted sign sways. His name bold, permanent. His place. Not the abusers, not the family who valued image over truth. Just a boy who survived and a mother who finally chose him. I rest a hand on his shoulder. He leans into it, solid, unafraid. The letter burns to ash behind us, taking the past with it.